Hello, friends. Welcome to the chapter 2 of the book Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. The chapter 2 is the root cause of all suffering. He starts the chapter with a wonderful quote by Sydney Banks said, "Thought is not reality, yet it is through thought that our reality is created." This he gives multiple examples. So one such example to state and to quote here is like for example, you absolutely hate your job. You don't want to step into your job, you hate your colleagues, you hate your boss, you are agitated. So this having this in your mind, you are in a family gathering whereas everybody is enjoying the TV show. So everybody's reality is different than that of you. They are living in the moment and their experience is laughter, family time. Whereas in your head you are suffering because you're thinking of the job which you are not really at as well. So the meaning or the thinking we give to an so he says the meaning or the thinking we give to an event determines how we ultimately feel. The reality is that event happened with no meaning and thinking and interpretation. It is not about the event that happened in our life, but our interpretation about them, which causes us to feel good and bad. Our feelings do not come from external events, but from our own thinking. So, this is what he says by giving the previous example. So, therefore, we can only feel what we are thinking. In short, he summarizes that the root cause of all suffering is our own thinking. And he also thinks the moment we stop thinking is when our happiness begins. So here he gives another example of a young monk who's in a monastery. So their job was to meditate and give their progress to their gurus or the experienced monks. So one was trying to meditate, and every time he sits to meditate he would get agitated with the sound of other people walking around, birds and animals passing. So he goes to his mentor, and when he asks about the progress, he says, every time I sit to meditate I get agitated and angry. Then the elderly monk, experienced monk, asks him one question, that do you know what exactly is making you angry? So then he goes to then he tried various places to meditate. Then he finds an empty boat. He goes to the middle of the river to meditate. So he found happiness, peace, nobody is there to disturb. Then third day it so happened that one other boat came rushing towards it, and then he found if he felt the splashing of the water and sound. When he opened, a boat was coming towards him. When it came closer, he saw it was just an empty boat. There's nobody in it. It must have come through wind or whatever reason. Then he realized it's not the other people, situation, circumstances that caused him angry. It is whole and soul. His reaction caused him the anger. So he says the external power or the situation do not have power to make him angry, but his own reaction. Then when he realized this, he went back to his monastery, sat in the same place where a lot of people are moving, a lot of animals are moving, but he could meditate. So in the gist, the author says it is not the actual reality which causes us the suffering. It's our own thinking, our own reality which we built in our head causes. However, he says that our perception of the reality is very real. We will feel what we think. Our feelings are real. This is completely undeniable. However, our thinking will look an inevitable, unchangeable reality to us until we begin to see our reality is created. Thus, we can change our experience of life by knowing that it comes from our own thinking. Let's see what we have in chapter 3 in the coming episode. Thank you.